friends who care about the future of education. Imagine if your child come home from school with a bruised face, not because of fight, but because he was beaten by his own teacher. Or a teacher who fights for discipline actually has to lose his sight for life because of violence from a student parents. This is not a fictional story. In September 2024, netizens were shocked by footage of a teacher at Cianjur High School 5 to Cianjur, hitting and pushing his students until they were bruised and had to receive medical treatment. Meanwhile, in Bengkulu, a teacher named Zaharman had to permanently lose his sight after being attacked by a parent just for reprimanding a student who was smoking. These two true stories are just a small part of the many cases of violence that occur in schools. Currently, violence in educational environments is not just an individual problem, but a systematic problem that we must face and solve together. Violence in education is not only in the form of physical beatings. Verbal violence, such as insults and harassment, also occurs. Psychological violence, such as intimidation and assault, even sexual harassment, which unfortunately is increasingly common. The perpetration can be anyone: student, teachers, or school staff. According to the Lombok Child Protection Agency, cases of sexual harassment against children in educational environment continue to increase. In Cianjur, a religious teacher is even suspected of having molested 20 of his male students and is now facing a 15 years prison sentence. Why does this violence continue to occur? One of the main reasons is the lack of a safe and effective reporting mechanism. Many victims feel afraid or reluctant to report what they experience. Without trust in the system, silence continues. Another serious issue is the culture of silence in schools, where violence becomes normalized and no longer seen as a serious problem. These two issues alone can fuel a cycle of violence that repeats itself. The impact of violence in schools is very serious and long-term. Victims can experience psychological trauma, decreased academic performance, and some even drop out of school. In addition, it can trigger mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety are also often experienced by victims. A study published in the National Center for Biotechnology Information in 2005 showed that violence and exposure in educational environments negatively impact children's psychosocial development, hinder their ability to learn, and increase the likelihood of behavioral problems in the future. Imagine the future of our children that is taken away just because they do not feel safe in their own place of learning. This is not just their problem, but our problem as a society. The answer to this problem can only be found in concrete steps that we take together. Schools must provide a safe and confidential reporting mechanism. Human rights, educational, and violence prevention must be taught from an early age. We must all dare to speak up and fight violence, not allowing the culture of silence to continue. Let's create a safe, comfortable, and respectful schools environments. Remember, change starts with us. One voice of courage can save many lives. Together, we can build a better and more human future of education. So, stop being spectators. From now on, we must become players who dare to fight violence in schools. Our small steps can make big change.